What's up everyone? I was just partway through filming a video for my latest entry into the No Gear series. We're doing the fighter build next. You can keep an eye out for that one. But midway through filming, of course, Dark and Darker decided it was time to have an update. So for Hotfix 61, what are they actually changing? They have a few fixes in here. I'll say notably, this one I've actually experienced myself, and it is quite frustrating. They fixed an item where essentially you fixed an issue where your items wouldn't return back to you, essentially, when you return them for your friends. So you know how you grab them, they usually go to the goblin. Well, they disappear from your friend, but they wouldn't appear in your friend's goblin. Very, very frustrating. My friend lost a few legendary items because the goblin stole them. Well, not anymore. They fixed that one, and then a few other ones in here as well. Wizard got a little bit of a nerf in some areas. I'll say Quick Chant was very, very good. I've been running Quick Chant. It got taken down to 15%, which I think is still pretty good. It's not nearly as insane as it was, but still very good. Wizard's Spell Overload now works off knowledge instead. Oh, wow. Hold on. Hold on. Real-time changes are happening right in front of us. I was... There you go. Strike that. Cleric has not been shifted. I got... Maybe we should hold out here and see what else is happening. I don't know. Maybe I'm looking at it too early, but we'll see. Might have to come back to this. Either way, wizards did just get changed, and it now works off their knowledge instead, which is an interesting shift, I will say, by all means. I think I'm gonna have to test this one out to really get an understanding of how fundamentally different this is gonna be. But 40% seems nicer, but the knowledge scaling might be a little bit worse, so I'll have to test it out. I'll say this buff to Cleric's healing is really, really appreciated. That seems really, really awesome to me. I think the only way we're gonna make the standard rush your face Cleric less prevalent, well, not the only way, one of the ways we can make it less prevalent is by enhancing Cleric's spell options. I'd love to see not only more support for the Cleric spells, but also more Cleric spells in general. We now have the option to have 10 spell Cleric, but you know what? I don't think you're ever going to see anyone running it at the moment. And that's just because I don't think there's enough spells to really justify it for a lot of people. I feel like the spells selection there is... Look, some spells are really cool. I think some of them are a bit lackluster, and I think there's a lot of opportunity to really bolster the Cleric spell list, add a few spells in there, and really give them a few other options. You know, I think there's other ways you could go with it. I'll get into more kind of stuff like that in another video if you guys want to hear about my speculations of what we could do, of things you could add to the Cleric to really spice it up. I was going to say this change here is actually exceptionally insane, and I thought it would get reeled back to 3 seconds if anything, but seeing as it hasn't been made, that makes sense to me because I don't think you need to buff the blind at all, so... I do really like this change here, the Bard's Rousing Rhythms. The duration change is actually really, really awesome. I found this really annoying, how essentially you would always have to rebuff this one 30 seconds sooner than all of your other buffs if you're running the full buff series, so really, really nice change for quality of life, really. The dot damage for the the Warlock's Curse of Pain is changed from 10 to 13, so over 8 seconds they now take 13 damage. As well as like I think it's 8 damage or something they take initially. I think that's really nice. It doesn't scale as well. It scales at 0.5, so 50% of your attributes, but it's still really, really nice to see a buff there. I think that's a better way to do the Curse of Pain, make it more of like a damage over time effect rather than initial sudden damage. I think that's a better way to sort of like iron out the Warlock's abilities in that sense. I don't know what else they need to do to the Warlock. There's probably a whole lot of other tampering they need to do here as well, but I think this is a cool change. Step in the right direction. Now, the rest of the changes here are all to the Druid. I really, really like to see these changes. I didn't know the Druid needed this, but I'm keen to test this out. I feel like some of this stuff might get reeled back. The Druid's Bear form now has a speed penalty of 20% rather than 30%, so it's now a whole lot faster, which I found you could never catch anyone in the Bear form. I think now the Druid might actually have some potential if they've got a little bit of agility in that sense, if they're kind of going like a hybrid build. So that's pretty cool. And even at 20%, maybe some fighters might even be at similar move speeds to you in your Bear form. I'll have to test it out to really get an understanding. The primary attack now scales by an extra 25%, so that's nuts. I think the Bear already did like a ridiculous amount of damage, and I think now the Bear is actually it's truly what you'd expect from a bear, a gargantuan creature like that. If that thing's coming down on your head, you are going to get absolutely pelted. Whether or not that leads to fun gameplay for everyone, I'm not sure, but I think I'm going to really enjoy this change because I love playing the Druid, but it might be a bit too strong. I guess we'll see. The Panther as well got the health penalty taken down by 10%. I haven't really used the Panther too much, but it is really interesting because I found the Panther to be really weak. Could very easily get 2-shot by most classes. I think now you might even be able to get 3 hits in. So that's a really nice change for a bit more quality of life in that sense. Well, not quality of life, more like survivability per se. They also get a little bit more damage. So the Panther form's primary attack attribute ratio is now 110%. And then for their primary, is this the same thing? Druid's Panther form primary attack attribute ratio change. Huh? I'm not sure. I presume the bite is the one that does a little more damage. So that's why I'm thinking that way. I imagine this will get clarified shortly. Druid's Nature's Touch attribute bonus ratio has been changed from 0 to now actually have a bonus at 50%. It also has resulted in a reduction of the spell count, so from essentially 5 to 4. I think this is actually a buff overall, because now it scales, which is really nice. You can sit down and get these spells back really quick, and now they'll heal a whole lot more health, which I think is quite nice. You can also now get more armor with your bark skin. It goes from now 20 to 25 armor overall, and it actually lasts an extra 2 seconds, so 10 seconds overall, so that's going to scale a whole lot better with your magic power now too. And I found this spell often would like run out rather quickly in a fight, so I think it's now going to be far more noticeable and be far more impactful, so definitely going to be one that I'm going to be running a whole lot more often now with my bear build. Now you can also scale for your restore. Essentially it's got an attribute bonus scaling of the same as the Druid Nature's Touch, essentially a 50% attribute scaling, which is really nice as well because this is like a really solid buff you can put on yourself. Essentially 30 health over I think it's like 20 seconds or something like that, maybe 30 seconds. Either way, it's just like a really nice little bit of health that can really scale over time now. And you know, give you a massive bonus in a fight. If it's a long fight, you can drag it out. And with a bear, and if you have got like a party of 3 people, maybe like a cleric and a fighter, this is going to be an insane bonus. Tree of Life, also having an extra 2 seconds on it, is equally insane. I think these buffs weren't really needed. I think these spells were all really good. I do like the scaling though. I hated the fact it didn't scale, but I don't know about the Druid Tree of Life. That might be a bit too strong, but all the other stuff here is really solid. Panther stuff and Druid stuff, maybe this will get pulled back for the bear stuff, but I guess we'll see. Now, they've also made it when entering a dungeon, you can't equip any equipment items in your inventory. I'm not exactly sure what an equipment item is, so I might have to get some more clarity on that. High roller games must now use random matchmaking if the number of players entering the dungeon differs from the dungeon requirements. So this is just like, if you're trying to queue into a 3-party dungeon, you've got to have 3 people. It's just to prevent players from ratting. I think this was just an oversight, that's all that is, because that's, you know, kind of in line with what IMACE has been doing. Thanks for watching the video. If you got some little bit of info from this one, make sure to leave a like on the video. And subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I do Dark and Darker gameplay guides, anything Dark and Darker really. I'm all about that at the moment, so make sure you subscribe and ring the bell for all that content. Thanks for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.